and it's day 4.
Day 4.
We're getting better at this.
We are. Might be pros by the end. We're already a professional podcaster.
No. Oh my gosh, I've had some tech problems lately, and Lindsay, my podcast partner, her husband had to help me. Like, I thought I lost a whole bunch of stuff that we had pre-recorded. I was about to have a heart attack.
No.
I know, I was about to have a heart attack. But shout out to Hayden. Thank you for helping me rescue a whole bunch of things that we wouldn't even talk about. All is well, thanks to Hayden and some late night Zooming. We fixed it, so excellent. Yeah, so we were just talking about tea before we record. Yeah, my daughter brought me.
Anna was just handed a cup of tea, and then I asked what kind it was, and it wasn't one I'd heard of before.
It's blackberry sage, and it's a black tea, because my daughter said, well, what kind do you want? And I said, I don't know, something with caffeine. So that's what she brought me. And we get this last round bit of tea we ordered from a website here in the States. It's called the Republic of Tea. And we were just talking about whether you had that in Australia or not. I don't know.
Not that I know of. We have the T2 chains, so lots of tea available from there, and lots of online places, but I don't think anything that sounds as big as that.
Yeah. And then I've wanted to research like planting a tea garden. And then, I have a food dehydrator. It would be easily enough to dehydrate herbs for making tea. I just I've never done that. Have you ever planted a tea garden?
I pick herbs from my garden for tea, so herbs that I might use in savoury cooking or baking. And usually to dry them, I just hang them in bunches upside down. You don't actually need to. But if you're drying blackberries or something for blackberry tea,
Sure. So do you grow peppermint and, chamomile, things like that?
Yeah, well, I've just moved, but I did bring pots of herbs with me. And I don't have chamomile at the moment. Mint. I've got sage. I might have to try making some tea with that. Mostly culinary herbs with me. I don't drink as much tea. My partner, Andy, he's a tea fanatic. The teapot has to be a certain way with the tea cozy, and, it's like there's a routine. I can't actually make good enough tea for he and our son. He's also taken on the tea gene. I prefer coffee in the morning. I like herbal tea.
I do. Yeah, I like coffee in the morning. I'm all about the hazelnut creamer. I mostly just like the creamer. Yeah. But then I like tea in the afternoon, or in the evening. I like tea. I have my 1.5 or 2 cups of coffee in the morning, and then I have tea the rest of the day.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Green tea?
Oh, yes. I like green tea. Yeah.
And dandelion tea is pretty nice too. With a bit of milk, a bit of honey.
Did you knit the teapot cozy?
I did, yeah. I'll send you a photo and you can insert
Pop it in. Yes.
Yeah, every year or two there's a new tea cozy in the Christmas prezi bag.
Until this year, I didn't know that there were specific temperatures for different teas. Like, I was just clueless about it. I just never had researched it. So it's a thing. Green tea is steeped at a much lower temperature than black tea, for example. I didn't know all that. But kudos to Jill and Lindsay, my podcast partners. They clued me in about the tea, and Jill has a fantastic tea shop where she lives in Illinois called the Quincy Tea Company. And you can shout out to them. You can order things online from them if you like. But Jill sent me a teapot that has this, but you plug it in and it has the buttons. Like if you want green tea or white tea or black tea, you just push the button and it knows the temperature. It just does it. Yeah, it does it.
Wow.
I wonder if Andy knows about that.
Well, he pretty much hard boils his tea. He boils it, puts some in the teapot so the teapot can warm while he boils it some more. Tips out that water. There's a process. He's got it sorted, and he likes to drink Russian caravan tea, which he used to like the Twinings brand, and then they seem to change the recipe.
Yeah, we have Twinings.
So he had to experiment and try a lot of different brands, and finally found one. I don't know what brand it is, but he buys it online in bulk. He's
So this is like a daily morning black tea.
He has milk in his.
But it's a black tea though?
It's a black tea, yep.
Not a green tea or a white tea. Okay.
Not herbal, no.
Yeah. Right.
But he'll drink the herbal teas during the day later, and coffee as well.
Oh.
But, yeah.
So, and then my one daughter, speaking of hot drinks, we were buying like the hot cocoa mix, the hot chocolate mix that you just get it already pre-made and you scoop out a tablespoon or whatever. But then the baking cocoa, the powdered baking cocoa, there's a recipe on the side of the little rectangle container for a single cup of hot cocoa using that. And that's the best. And of course you're making it yourself. You have the cocoa and the sugar and you measure everything out properly, but it's way better than the pre-mixed stuff that you buy from the store,
And you could pre-mix it, the sugar and everything, into a jar, and then
just multiply it out by 20 or whatever. Yeah. Anyway.
Very good. Last year for my son's Christmas stocking, I gave him hot chocolate things. So I put in just anything that would be fun in hot chocolate. So melting chocolate, like Mexican hot chocolate with cinnamon in it, those blocks of chocolate that you melt into milk, and some candy canes and some plain chocolate, plus some really good quality cocoa. What else did I put
marshmallows? Do you put marshmallows in your hot chocolate?
I would have. In his stocking, I put all those kinds of things in there, and it was just such a fun gift, and a cup as well. So, and he really enjoyed that. And I even may have put in a tiny little bottle of Cointreau for that extra special.
What is that? Cointreau?
It's an orange liqueur.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So it's nice. A little splash of that is pretty yummy. Very decadent.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a fun stocking filler.
Wow, you had a theme, a whole theme for the Christmas stocking.
Yeah.
Interesting. We may have to do that. I've never done a whole theme. We just usually put kind of like in our family, we have a tradition where we just, fill the stocking with various little things. Some of the things are the same every year because it just started that way.
Yeah.
Yes. But we've never done a theme like that. Huh.
It was good fun. I think it's the first time I've done that too. And I did have a theme in mind for this year, and now I can't remember what it was. But there is some tea this year for the stocking. So I found some native teas that look really interesting. So there's a few of those.
Yeah. You have to write it down when you have good ideas. Like we're doing the Elf on the Shelf thing. Do you know about the Elf on the Shelf, or is that an American thing?
It's here in Australia. It's not something we do, but I do understand what it is. It looks like fun.
Yeah. And, the elf is supposed to do like little pranky joke things, or you can make the elf do all kinds of things. So if people are into the Elf on the Shelf, watch my Instagram stories because I've been putting all of our little elf is named Ginger, and we take turns in my family where there's 4 of us. And so we each take a day, and then Ginger does something. You have to, set it all up and make it do something. So yeah.
I saw Ginger sewing a couple of days ago.
That was yesterday, actually. That was brilliant. My youngest daughter, she's the Elf on the Shelf master now. She's super creative. She's the one that came up with the idea about sewing. And then today was, someone else's turn. And so I have a whole series of Instagram archive stories of all the Ginger things from this year. Ginger is the name of our elf. But I have to write it down. When I think of an idea for Ginger, the elf, I have to write it down or I will totally forget. So I have to have a little note section in my phone or where I have to write down all my Ginger ideas.
That's a good idea. So you can
I will totally forget.
Days of no creativity.
Yeah.
I must remember what today's stocking theme, what this year's stocking theme was. And another thing that I always put in, like you say, that you put in the same things every year. For him, it's lemon sherbet lollies. I don't know what you call lollies there.
Lolly, yeah, like a sucker.
Hard. Yeah.
Does it have a stick or is it just a hard candy that's wrapped?
It's just a little one that's wrapped in, and you untwist it and it's yellow on the outside and sherbet in the inside. So lemon sherbet. a lemon. It might be
I thought
more of
sherbet
an
was
English.
ice cream, like a frozen treat.
This
Sherbet?
is not frozen because I put it in the stocking.
Well, right, but I thought that's what we called it's a sherbet
because
without
sherbet
the
for you is
R,
more like
like a frozen treat.
granita or yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's a white powdery like icing sugar
Oh.
and or
I would love
confectioner's
that.
sugar
I
with a
love
kind
lemon.
of, I don't know what they put in it. I think you can make it with bicarb of soda. Bicarb.
Oh.
I think that's how you can actually make sherbet, and it gives a little fizz.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
The candies, whenever people talk about the candies in their country, it's always fascinating to see or to, candies. If it's always different than what you've grown up with, and it feels all exotic and really neat. Like in Canada, they have better candy than we do. I think they have better candy candy in Canada. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. I'm more familiar with American candy than Canadian candy, although some of the maple candies there are pretty special, aren't they?
Well, they've got one called Coffee Crisp, and it's like a Kit Kat, with the chocolate with the wafer cookies inside, but it's coffee flavored.
Yum.
I know. Shout out to all the Canadians for their Coffee Crisp.
Well done.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
if I could figure out how to get
Yeah.
some of those, I would. Like you can't. I haven't ever seen them here.
Isn't that funny? Because the borders, connect. You'd think you'd share your candies.
I guess not. Except I've got a friend. Shout out to Val in British Columbia, and last time she sent me a package that was a Coffee Crisp in it, and I was like, oh. And I didn't show anybody. I didn't show my kids. So I'm like hiding that in the desk. I love that. Well, all right. Speaking of
Day 4, should we open something?
Yes, let's do. So should I go first today? Okay. So day 4, we have like sparkly packaging here.
On a Christmas tree.
Yep. And a Christmas tree. Let's see. Did you get some knitting done yesterday?
Yeah, I did. I finished a sleeve and started on the next sleeve, so I'm pleased about that.
Ooh. Okay, there was a plan here. Day 4 is also yarn 4. I don't think they meant to do that. The kids. I don't know, but it is.
Maybe they're just messing with your mind somehow.
They could be. That's entirely possible. Let me change the lighting here. But it is also kind of that tonal brown. It's really pretty. Really, really pretty. And it's called Riverstone. Yeah. Nice.
Gorgeous.
Nice. And I do have, here's day 1. Here's day 1. I'll knit it up. Day 1. Yeah, that was number 1. And then day 2 is, I'm only about 3 rows from the end of day 2. That was the colorway called Scroll, and it has some of those little speckles in it.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. So yeah, so hopefully I won't be too far behind. So I'll be catching up hopefully day 3, and
I think you will. Yeah.
Yeah, I think hopefully I will be catching up shortly. So all right.
Excellent. Well,
let's see what you got. Yeah.
So today's color stone is amethyst. So I think we have a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
What to expect there.
I feel like that's pretty familiar because it's a birthstone,
Yeah. It's a popular stone, isn't it? Most people would be familiar with it. Which birthstone is it for? Do you know? Oh, wow.
I believe it's February.
Ooh. It's a glowing amethyst. How beautiful is that?
I think that's February. Yeah, we'll have to verify that, but I'm pretty sure amethyst is February.
So it's much more purple now.
Wow.
The sapphire. Yeah.
Nice.
Fun. That's looking great.
That makes me want to order that kit from Terina.
Her kits get a lot of orders after Advent. They're just so
after
gorgeous.
People have seen them, they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna have to have that after all." Yeah.
And here's my knitting. I did bring it to show. It's not Advent knitting.
Well,
It's
still, I want to
the
see.
most beautiful green. It feels like seasonal
Oh, that's
this year.
lovely.
So
And
I'm
what yarn
making a
is that?
sweater version of my Celestia cardigan design.
Okay.
So nearly there. Just one more sleeve to go.
Now, see, that's a different thing too. That's a country, a regional, different terms. So when I say cardigan, I mean a sweater that is open in the front. And when I say sweater, I just mean that could be a pullover or a cardigan either way. Sweater is the general term. And then you have to specify, well, is it a cardigan or is it a pullover? But then like in Europe or in England, they say cardigan or jumper. A jumper is a pull over your head one.
Yeah.
So isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
There's
So yeah,
different.
when I say sweater, I am thinking jumper and pullover, and cardigan is the button up. Yeah.
Like a jacket. Yeah. So do you have trouble with the sleeves? Because people talk about being on quote sleeve island and that it takes forever and they don't like doing the sleeve. I don't mind it. I don't mind the sleeve. I just watch a show and carry on and you're just going round and round. I don't mind it.
Yeah, it depends. Because the last week I have been pretty busy, so it has felt like it's taken ages because I've only been able to do little bits. So it has felt like Sleeve Island. And the body knit up really quickly. So I was expecting, as is always the case, oh yeah, I'll be finished in a few days. And yeah.
And you're still
so I feel a little
on.
bit stranded on Sleeve Island because I've got 4 more ideas that I want to get knitting on. So
write them down.
And I'm pretty monogamous. I've got
Oh,
that and one hat on the needles at the moment.
That's it? I need to be like you. I have a problem because I went to find the cable for these squares for my circular needle after I decided to try it instead of the DPNs. And I started looking around and I have so many whips that I am about out of needles. I'm gonna have to knock out.
You need more
some
needles
stuff.
then, obviously.
Well, sure. I'm gonna have to start finishing some things just so I can free up some tools. Oh my goodness.
And so today we've got a short video after our little daily segment. Julie from Dyed by Hand Yarns in Australia, who's kind of close to me, it's about 3 hours drive, has made a video about how to use a mini skein for your Advent project without winding it. And so it's a great video. She's shared that on the group as well. And she's also really hangs out a lot on the group and chatty. And
and I thought it was handy. It's handy if you don't have a winder. A lot of people don't have a Swift and a ball winder. If you just don't feel like taking the time to put it, turn your chair upside down or have someone hold it and wind it by hand, you can definitely, it's a good tip. You can definitely do this, right? But before I let you go, we have to have our weather report.
Oh, yes.
And I was more prepared this time. I actually have my little Post-it note and then I looked up the conversion. So what's it like in Australia today? In your corner of Australia?
Yeah, down here we are quite south, so we're almost the most southern point of the mainland of Australia. So it is chillier. And it's about the same as yesterday. So 20 degrees Celsius, which is about 68 Fahrenheit.
Right.
So
do you know what latitude you are?
No, I don't. No.
Okay, we'll look that up and I'll put it in because I was thinking about that because you're in the southern hemisphere, so the seasons are flipped, and we are at about the 41st parallel here where I live in Wyoming, or sorry, not parallel, 41st latitude. So just a few degrees shy of being halfway between the equator and the North Pole. So I was curious what your latitude was, whether you're closer to the South Pole or closer to the equator or pretty well in the middle.
I'll
have to look that up.
Yeah, I can't even, blank.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
And I'll make a little title thing that tells everyone. Yeah, because you're not that far from Melbourne. I could just look up what is the latitude of Melbourne.
Yeah, we're basically, pretty much.
Yeah, close enough. Sure.
Yeah.
And so here, our high temperature today And it is kind of windy, so it feels colder than this, but it's 43 degrees, which is about 6 degrees Celsius. That's our high
chilly.
today, but it's windy.
Yeah.
But it is sunny. So I still need to do my walk. I try to walk a couple miles every day. And so I'm going to have to just, pull down my hat and put on my, bundle up a little bit because it's kind of windy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard when it's windy, isn't it?
It's less fun, but I'd still rather go actually outside than the treadmill. I feel like a hamster on this circle thing when I'm on a treadmill.
Yeah, that would take some discipline. I like having somewhere to walk to.
Yeah. Even if it's just around the neighborhood,
circuit. Yeah.
It's all right. So the low tonight is a little below freezing. It's 28 degrees Fahrenheit will be our low, and that's -2 for you. Celsius.
Yeah, that's chilly. So yeah, our low yesterday was 11 degrees, which is 52 Fahrenheit, and today it's 13 warm. Degrees. Yeah. So it's a little bit warmer, but I'm not sure. I didn't check the conversion, so it'll be warmer than 52 Fahrenheit. So that's milder evenings.
Yeah. I mean, I would still be sleeping with my windows open if it was that warm.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Nice.
I like to have, even when it's quite cold, I like the window open.
Me too. Just a little fresh air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
But maybe not when it's -6 degrees Celsius. Probably not then.
All right, then. We'll get on to our little video from Julie, and we'll visit again tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie, for today's video.
Absolutely.
Hi, everybody. Julie from Dye by Hand Yarns here. I know that a lot of you are enjoying opening your daily little yarn packages and winding them into little balls or cakes before working on your projects, but I thought that I would share with you today my trick from working your projects directly from your mini skeins, thus saving you a little bit of time every day and getting straight into the all-important knitting. So, here I have my little mini skein all lovely and wound up. All you need to do is, at one end you'll find the little tail tucked into a loop. So what you do, pop your thumb through the little loop there and push the tail back through and let your mini skein unwind. Now it's important to keep your thumb in that loop because that is going to tell you where the center of the skein is. So once you've done that, pop both hands inside the skein and give it a good snap or two. And this helps align all of those threads within the skein and helps to prevent tangles later on. Otherwise, you're going to end up like my t-shirt, okay? So, a couple of good snaps, then pop it over your head just like this. Now, somewhere in your mini skein, you're going to have your two ends. So just snip them apart, just like this. And make sure you don't lose those ends because you're going to need them. There we go. I have one working end. So all you need to do now is grab one or two loops around your head, and that's your working end of your yarn. So start working, doing your knitting or crochet or whatever you happen to be doing with it. And when you use up that bit of yarn, grab your next loop and wrap it around your head just like this. And off you go again, just keep working. So it is that easy. And this saves you the time of actually having to wind your mini skein into a little cake or a ball every day. Now you can also use this for a full-size skein project. I did this once when I grabbed my project to knit on an aeroplane but hadn't wound my ball of yarn. I thought, gosh darn it, I am not going to sit here and waste all my flight time winding my skein into a ball. Anyways, so I'm just going to put all this back into my mini skein. But yeah, when you finish with that particular yarn for the day, you can easily wind this back into a skein. So you'll just excuse me while I neaten up my end here. There we we go. I hope you can see this okay. So there we go, not back to a nice mini skein. And you're going to have a little tail hanging out there somewhere. Might make it a little untidy. So stick your thumbs once again in the centre. Start winding. Da-di-da, da-di-da, winding, winding. Until it starts to get quite tight. And then what you want to do is fold your skein in half, and I tuck it under my chin here. And then I hope you can see, just slip one loop over the tail, or get your little pincers here. Grab that loop through the other loop and let the skein wind back upon itself, and we're back to a little mini skein. It's that easy. Now, someone in the forums did ask me about how can you use a full skein, because you can't knit all of your skein in one project in one sitting. So here's my little project here, and I have my mini skein. As you can see, I've actually still got the tail hanging out, joined to my knitting here. So that's all you do. So we'll just undo it again, as though I'm going to start doing my work session. Doesn't matter which way you wrap, this way, or have the tail coming off this side. Your personal preference. So, remember to undo a loop, work your yarn. When you're finished, just re-loop it until you've taken up most of that slack, but leave a little bit for your project to hang out the end of. Slip it over our thumbs, winding, 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 till it starts to get nice and firm, or tight, too difficult to keep winding. You don't want to cut off the circulation of your thumbs. Fold it in half. I hope you can see this, because I'm looking down, I can't see the camera, but hopefully you can see I've got my little pincers here. I just grab the other loop and pull it through and wind it up, just like that. You can see I've actually got 2 minis attached to this project. So I hope you find that helpful, and I look forward to seeing all of your various Advent calendars and Advent projects. Thank you once again to Ambah and Jana for hosting this event. Bye for now.